Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right, welcome everybody. Today we are diving into the future of construction with Blueprint Robotics, integrated offsite building technology, a cutting-edge company based in Baltimore, Maryland, that's revolutionizing how we build single-family and multi-family buildings. Specializing in advanced robotics and precision manufacturing, Blueprint Robotics is setting a new standard for speed, quality, sustainability in the construction industry. And joining us today is Jason Bos, Chief Operations Officer at Blueprint Robotics. So stay tuned as we explore how their innovative technology is transforming the way we think. That's right, think about building homes and communities in the future as well as today. Comil Lift is the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers, a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. Comil Lift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. A big thank you to Paul Short and the team at Comil Lift for helping us all to build it better. Visit them at combilift.com. Ready to scale up your offsite construction business? Introducing 4A Constructs, your solution to finding skilled labor for offsite manufacturing. Say goodbye to the headache of recruiting a skilled workforce with hand-selected certified tradesmen that are expertly trained and managed for offsite manufacturing, set crews, and finish crews, ensuring maximum productivity and safety. Unlock the future of skilled workforce development for all of your offsite construction needs. Visit them at 4aconstructs.com. All right, thank you to all of our supporting members. We cannot bring you all these innovative conversations without them, to include Cobalt Creed, man. We got to love Cobalt Creed and Shawn Intagliata for your small duct, high velocity HVAC system. If you're not using them in your offsite manufacturing plant, you better rethink what you're doing because they are changing how it's done. All right, without further ado, Jason Bos. Jason,
morning,
how are
Dave.
you, my friend? Good to see you.
Good. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, man, I am doing amazing. I can't even begin to tell you how awesome I am because it's Monday, which means we still have 4.5 more days to do what we're doing. So, Jason, before we get started, we want to know everything about you. So, tell us everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will have your mother on the show. But you only have 2 minutes to do it. So, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Well, I was born in San Diego, California, so California native. We'll spare you all the naked details of that adventure. but I spent most of my career in fabrication, manufacturing, engineering design, operations, all across a fair number of companies and projects throughout the history of offsite construction. That's me in a nutshell.
Well, you know what? I like you in a nutshell. So, Jason, before we hop into this, right, give us a little bit of your background with, Blueprint Robotics. How long have you been there now?
I joined the Blueprint team about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I came here to help prep for scale and to kind of fine tune the system that was already here. We have a pretty extensive amount of Weinmann equipment in our facility here, and we needed to get more out of it. We needed higher production rates, and that has been my focus since I've been here. That, as well as integrating the various business units, project management, procurement, logistics, warehousing, site operations, DFMA, bringing all of those things into a succinct system with the manufacturing environment.
How do you see, robotics and advanced manufacturing and the integrated approach? And we'll get into a little bit about the software at some point, because I know that was a big integration that you had to get the machines talking with the office and everything that you have going there. But how do you see robotics moving forward in construction? Is it going to shape how we build?
I think it is. I believe that there are some significant benefits. The first one is that it levels the playing field. The robotics and industrial equipment levels the playing field with diversity in your workforce. Right? We have tiny little ladies out on the shop floor that do the same jobs as the 6'2" gorillas out there, and they're able to do that because of the machines making the work easier, more ergonomic, and safer and more productive. So I think that's one area that these equipment and robotics is really going to continue to shine. The next piece is obviously quality. Our customers absolutely love the frame, as they say. They never have gotten a better structural component out of a factory before, and that's because of the precision of the equipment that we use. And so I think that's the next big piece. And then as we move into further optimization in an industrial environment, I think we'll see a continued reduction in waste and further efficiencies gained.
Yeah, for sure. Well, reduction in waste. So let's talk about, there's a growing demand for sustainability building solution. How is Blueprint Robotics incorporating sustainability into your process? And I mean, because you guys are doing large projects at scale, how does one do that, and what is going on there for you?
So we have a very robust recycling program. We don't send any clean lumber to a landfill. Everything that we can possibly capture, you're going to have off-fall and lumber products, but being able to plan to utilize that off-fall in the near term and long-term future, and being able to capture that material rather than just have it uncontrollably sent to a bin and then hauled away to fill up a landfill somewhere. We're fortunate here to have a public utility that is an incinerator used to generate electricity. And so when we do have some of those burnable elements, we're able to get it over to those good folks, and they'll be able to produce another form of sustainable electricity for the communities here in Baltimore.
So we've already learned two things, right? Off-site construction is more sustainable just because you can control the material and what happens to the leftover material. And it makes for a more diverse workforce. And just so everybody knows out there, we did film at Blueprint last week, or maybe 2 weeks now. Time flies by pretty quick. So we're excited to kind of show you the process and behind the scenes of what's going on there as well. So Jason, some of the key challenges in scaling robotics driven construction is something you're an expert at. You've been in this industry for a long time. And some of what we talked about when I was out there was, since you've gotten there, how you've scaled the production line volume going out the door. Walk us through what happened and how you pulled that off.
So one of the downsides to robotics and industrial equipment is they can very easily become a rigid process. They can become a very rigid in how you flow things through. That was one of the challenges for Blueprint. There was a method developed for a specific product type, and the factory was tuned to that product type. And what we had to do is we had to rethink and reimagine how we could move products through the production line and create some flexible entry and exit points, give us the ability to move things more efficiently through the factory, and that gave us a high yield. And thinking through those changes entailed a lot of time talking to the people that we have on the shop floor, understanding their user story, and really getting in deep with them to understand what slows them down, what prevents them from doing their job as efficiently and easily as possible. And so as we kind of cracked the code on this particular building and said, hey, we need to be able to pull a panel here or push a panel there, or we need to feed more goods to a workstation. That was how we made upwards of a 3x gain in production volume without a massive amount of capital expenditure. And so it was really a lot of tuning and turning the little knobs and paying attention to little knobs. And that can sometimes be tricky when you're working with industrial machines and robotics, but certainly is possible. And that's one of the benefits of having a blended approach to manufacturing, having both really good human resources as well as a complement of industrial machines and robots.
You said 3 times the production volume. Now, is this something that increased due to efficiencies on the factory floor, or did you guys make changes in the software? When I hear stuff like that, Jason, I sit there and I go, okay, something drastic had to change somewhere. Maybe it's the way you run your lines. Maybe it's the software. What was it for you that made that change, and how did you implement it? And was it you that implemented it?
So yeah, obviously, when you start tuning a production environment, you have to have a keen eye ready to see the trickle down effect, right? And when a production environment capacity is increased by 3x, you also have to be able to feed it with materials, work instructions, machine files, all those things. So we rapidly got into a situation where the software we were using at the time became our next bottleneck to overcome. That was when we started talking with different potential partners to solve that challenge. We ultimately landed with the GreyTech team, and we basically took a project live and we hot started using their products. We had some really good people on our team that were familiar with some of their products, which helped, but we also had to develop their products because some of our building methods are different. We were able to accomplish this in a very short amount of time, and that was a big game changer for us because we can produce more than what we could feed the production line through our DFMA team. And now those two sides of the scale are starting to really balance out. And we found the happy accident that we don't need as much time to go from contract to manufacturing, whereas the time frame previously was really big.
So the integration of GreyTech, and that's GreyTech Struxoff, right? So GreyTech
It is.
Struxoff, walk me. So what part of their system are you using? Did you completely change your entire system, or was it a piece of their software that you used to help with the speeding up the automation of the manufacturing?
So we worked with Autodesk to move all of our DFMA work into Revit,
Yep.
and simultaneously ramped up with GreyTech Struxoft with their MWF tool. They helped us customize it and really get it prepped for how we build, which is a lot of heavy saw work in the beginning. We do a lot of milling and drilling in our systems. And then we're continuing that partnership and using Onyx, their product Onyx, for load listing, pack out, those things. And of course, it's a continuous improvement process. It's constantly evolving and changing to get more of what we need faster and with better content to the production line and to the field and to our warehousing and logistics teams.
So MWF, metal wood framing, is that right?
Yep, I think that's it.
Metal wood framing software system. Awesome. Walk me through a little bit. How was the integration of that? How was the buy-in? And then I want to understand the culture, and then I want to get into some of the chatter in the industry. But how was the buy-in with the team to make a change? And did you have to shut down your production line or do any of that?
So most importantly, we did not have to shut the production line down. Our DFMA team was, I'll be honest, they were not thrilled about making a software change. It's akin to asking somebody to, throw away their favorite pair of shoes. That's how us designers are. We get very comfortable with a set of tools, and we don't really want to give them up. And so our team was hesitant at first, and there was a little bit of friction, a little bit of grief, a little bit of worry and anxiety about it. And ultimately, what happened in the end, because the support from the GreyTech Struxoff team was so good, the training was so good, the willingness to listen to what we had to do and to examine how we functioned previous to them really helped ease some of those concerns. And now what we have is we have a lot of adopters in our design team. Most of the folks in our design team now say, "Hey, this is way better than what we were doing before." And they're able to get more done more efficiently. And that's really important when you're the team responsible for feeding this giant machine out here that has an insatiable appetite for work instructions and machine files.
Yeah, and so that leads me into culture, right? The best companies I see out there have the best culture. Your culture at Blueprint, from what I could tell, was pretty damn amazing. Honestly, like people were smiling, they were willing to take time out of their lunch break to chat and everything else, and with smiles on their face. And you have a very diverse work group, like you said. You have women, you have men, you have ethnicity, you have everything on that factory floor, which automation allows everybody and anybody to participate. You don't have to be somebody that can lift 500 pounds anymore to work in construction. Culture. How important is culture to you and your organization?
It's key. If you're not willing to get down on a shop floor and talk to the people about their daily experience, if you just keep ramming more and more through your factory and making demands, then your team's not going to buy in. And for us, we have found it very productive to sometimes in small groups, sometimes in big groups, sometimes with individuals, pull people out of the shop floor and say, "Hey, what's happening? It seems like you're struggling. What's going on?" And sometimes what you find out is that people are actually people and they have personal struggles and they want to know that people around them care. And a lot of times what we find is they know they've got 10 ideas of how to make things better in their work environment. And 3 or 4 of those you could do very easily. And it makes a big difference when it's their idea and they're giving the feedback. And of course, it's better information than you get from sitting in an ivory tower looking down upon the shop floor.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, that's why it's a team, right? And it's a team
It is.
approach. And the people that are doing it day in and day out have ideas, and they have to feel like they can share those ideas and not be scared to come to the ivory offices or what have you, right? And
Right.
you guys are down on the shop floor all the time. Love it. All right, let's hop into something a little bit different, right? And a little bit of your background, Cera. We're still hearing the
Everybody
words
wants to talk
Cera.
about Cera.
I know. Well, I want to just put it out there. We keep hearing the words Cera, and I think there's a lot of lessons learned at Cera. And I love the fact that there's a $2 billion research project that happened with Cera, right? There's a lot of lessons learned, and a lot of great people came out of that with training and new ideas and a vision. And the only way to succeed is to fail, right? Even Walmart went bankrupt, 3 times before it got off the ground? What's your thoughts on Cera? And let's put this to rest, because I've been talking about it too long, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing it.
So my perspective on Cera, I was fairly early in the Cera system, and there was a lot of collaboration. There was a lot of super smart people. To be honest, some of the smartest people that I have worked with worked at Cera. And while the grand Cera experiment did not end the way that anybody, I think, expected it to, I think that it gave the industry a platform to say, "Hey, real change is needed. Real change is valuable, and valuable to not only the industry and the people that need buildings, but also valuable to the business community." that it can be a place that these types of businesses can be a place where you can generate money, you can generate jobs, and you can have positive impact. What went wrong? The need to scale rapidly in high capital intensive businesses is a real challenge, right? Investors and people don't want to put, billions of dollars in and wait for 5, 10 years for a return, right? Those slow growth models are difficult when you're dealing with venture capital and firms that are really looking to have a good return on their investment. So the first lesson becomes make sure you have the right financial and development partners. That's the first lesson I think that came out of Cera was it is super important to have people that believe in changing the method of construction. When you have that, then the other pieces kind of fall in place and start to work better. Other things, right? Nobody has full sail deployed as many different types of technology and been in so many facets of construction in such a short amount of time. So I think part of the lesson there is we have to do more as an industry. We can't simply be manufacturing centers. We have to be more to our developer and general contractor partners and really partner with those people. At the same time, it may not be sensible to buy light bulb factory in China. That may not be an essential part of your business.
You sure?
So I think there was. If light bulbs have that big of an impact on your bottom line, then yeah, go for it. But I think that's where people get critical. They look at how much money was raised and how many people got laid off or fired ultimately, and what wasn't done or what was done. And I think that Cera will remain king of the mountain for being a catalyst for a long time to come. We raised more money than anybody else. We pushed the envelope really fast. We showed that you can set factories up very quickly. And those were all barriers at the time that I think have been peeled off. We've talked before, Dave. I'd love to see the timeline, right? I think that Cera probably looks like the Big Bang, right? There's probably so many companies that came after Blueprint, after Cera, that would not have come about had it not been for what Cera did. So from that perspective, I think it was a highly successful period in the industry.
Like I said, it was a research lab. This is what I always call it. And some of these newer companies that did come about because of Cera, that hired ex-Cera, team members, have all those lessons learned and failures learned. And like I said, nobody's successful without failing somewhere along the way. And in like my case, several times over and over again throughout my life. But that's what keeps us going, right? Is you got to learn. All right. So we have Cera. One of the other things we talked about is the industry is growing. How are you seeing offsite in general, whether it's panelized, volumetric, CLT, mass timber, concrete? Do you see the future as a hockey stick, or do you see just steady growth moving forward?
I think that there is a bit of a hockey stick type growth that is still going on. I'm not sure exactly where we are in the hockey stick, but it definitely feels like things change very rapidly. One of the pieces that I find very interesting is that we pigeonholed ourselves for a while. There was a big movement for a while to say, I'm a panel manufacturer. I'm a volumetric manufacturer. I do wood. I do steel. And really, even down to products, we only build single family. Others only built apartments. Others tried to only build hospitality buildings. And I think what's happening now is that the capacity in the industry is being viewed as needing to be more versatile. And the factories need to be able to not be everything to everybody, but to understand the products they produce as they apply to the systems of a building and not the use of the building. And I think that's going to catalyze our continued growth, right? It makes a lot of sense for a company like Blueprint. We are a panelized company, or properly we say that we build in polygons, but we also build in volumetric. We have pods that we do on a number of projects, all the way to finish. And the types and variety of those pods, and size of those pods, and complexity will continue to evolve, particularly as our customer base says, I have a need, right? This goes back to listening and listening really well. And what we're hearing from the general contractors, the developers we talk to, is they're looking for a fully baked integrated solution, right? They don't want to, they love the fact that we bring the wood frame and the mechanical and the electrical and the plumbing, all the rough end. We own the trades all the way through finish and warranty. And we take care of the underground because that's part of the plumbing trade. And so we spend a lot of time here crafting the scope for a project to meet the needs of the customer. And I think that's where we're going to continue to see fast evolution, is folks are going to say, hey, wait, my customers might need me to be the wood frame guy. Maybe our DNA is wood frame. But every time we build on a podium, we've got a bunch of light gauge steel that needs to be done under that podium. Maybe we should be looking at that as well, so that we are truly a one-stop shop. I think that's evolution, as we're going to continue to see it.
So, and you kind of answered this question, but I really wanted to round out the show with this. But as the chief operations officer of a company like Blueprint Robotics, how do you ensure that you stay at the forefront of innovation while maintaining quality, while maintaining safety standards, sustainability, and obviously not slowing down the production line? How does one stay ahead of what's happening and how the world's changing? Because AI is here, it's coming, and I'm sure we're going to see more of it in our environment.
It is. The first thing we do is we sit everybody down every week and we watch Dave Cooper live.
There you go. Thank you very much, Jason.
It's
the best place to learn.
But really, our team does spend a lot of time learning and talking. We have people from our shop floor even to say, hey, have you guys seen this tool? And so we collaborate a lot on what's happening in the industry. We have to. We also talk to our customers a lot. We have regular meetings where we look back and, if you can imagine taking a first-time general contractor, polygoning their building for them, and then inviting them to come tell us the things that we could do better, you can imagine we get some pretty direct feedback. And as quick as we can possibly apply that feedback and use it for growth and use it to keep understanding the industry, we do that. And we find a great amount of success in that. We find that we don't have to worry and wonder about what to do. The industry will speak to you if you're willing to ask. The danger is getting in a box and saying, my manufacturing center does this, and that's all we do. And then waiting for somebody to come and conform to you. That's not how construction in North America works. And we can't pigeonhole our manufacturing that way.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, we're about out of time here. Anything that we didn't discuss that you really want to make sure everybody knows about yourself, Blueprint Robotics, or I don't know, anything in the world?
Yeah, we're here, and we have a fantastic team of experts in the building here at Blueprint Robotics. And I think that's another challenge in the industry right now. There seems to be a lot of self-proclaimed expertise in the industry. And I think that sometimes those experiments don't go well either. And I think it's costing money, and it's making people sometimes hesitant to dip their toe in the pool and understand. If somebody wants to learn, our doors are open. Reach out to me. We're happy to host somebody at the factory, teach them what we do. And we don't feel like there's secrets here. If more people will do the things that we do, we will learn, and the industry will flourish because we're sharing knowledge. And that's really, I think that's a challenge. We need lower fences between all of the providers and for those that are seeking goods from manufacturing.
Yeah, there is as any industry as it grows, there's experts that come out of the woodworks, and I do think that it hurts us a little bit too, because there's not enough experts that were practitioners that truly understand it versus theoretically. I mean, I can imagine and think about how a plane flies, and I can make a paper airplane and make it fly, but I wouldn't put my kids on it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
And we are seeing a lot of it, and we see a lot of people raising money, but what are they doing with it? I agree with you. I think the best way to learn is to go to somebody's factory like yourself, talk to people in the industry that know the experts that have actually done the work, set up manufacturing, set up, DFMA, whatever the case is, and be careful of those that are out there proclaiming to be doing all this great stuff and just spending a lot. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Straight from Jason Boss's mouth, words of wisdom. And I can tell you, there's a lot of words of wisdom coming out of that thing right there. So, hey, Jason, how about that? Are we good to wrap up?
I think we are. Thank you so much for having me on today, and continue to push the industry forward.
Well, no, we appreciate you being on with us. And for the rest of you out there, it's Monday. We got 4.5 days to build it better. This was a great conversation. Jason Boss, Blueprint Robotics. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.